Hello? Can you guys see anything? Yeah, I don't know what happened. I definitely didn't get a pop-up message that said OBS has crashed. So, I don't know, man. It's just very strange. It's just as I was doing that, my internet connection mysteriously was interrupted. But we're back now. Everything is epic. Oh shit! Leaking DMs with iQueer. God damn it. What's up, Mr. Mojo? I just got destroyed by my new drivers. But otherwise, everything's good. Yeah, the first messages that came in when I restarted the stream were, of course, Veek saying, "Told ya, haha." Well, you know what, Veek? You were right. I got nothing to say. You know what I do got to do? I have to save a bunch of files automatically. Oh yeah, Veek, I was asking you about a tool to help with this psychotic process of saving these files automatically. So, you see this flag here, flip row order? Apparently it's not supposed to do that much, but there's no way to automate saving it with this flag off. Like I've tried it and it doesn't actually work when I do a save off and all that. Like a simple save action. So I have to manually save every single frame. Because if that flag is ticked, we're fucked. The graphics just don't work with PyGRP or Shadowflare's GRP converter or presumably any other GRP converter. So I have to do this for however many number of frames. Like in this case, I think it's close to 200. Or maybe it's only like... It's at least 170. So I'm going to have to do this in like 4 rounds of opening upwards of 50 files each time. And saving every single one of them. I only do it in increments of 50 because it's slightly easier for me to, like, for Photoshop's memory management, basically. So next up is 108. So yeah, once I'm done processing these ones, I'll turn them into a GRP and generate a shadow, and maybe write an iScript. I can't actually put him into the game, obviously, because of the limitation of the graphics that we have. I can't put him into Hydra anyway. But I can get everything else done for him. It really sucks that we don't have like a higher quality grab bag of graphics, because some of these graphics, like this one, seems pretty useful, honestly, and the Paladin placeholder as well. Like they seem pretty good. Like, it's not specifically made for the game that I'm trying to make, but it's still, I think, pretty good for a placeholder graphic. All right, what do we have after that 162? But yeah, anyway, like I was saying earlier, Vic, a tool to automate this process would save me a lot of fucking grief. I also found out, by the way, that the keyboard that I have here, that you guys are listening to right now, is apparently one of the fucking loudest keyboards in existence. That's still in manufacturing. I didn't know that. I just assumed that all mechanical keyboards were like this. So, enjoy that realization, I guess. No, I already tried the batch action. It doesn't work. I was telling you that earlier. Should have asked what? I thought blue switches were like the go-to ones. I didn't realize that they were also loud as fuck. But I mean, I don't personally care. Like, it doesn't bother me. But I know for a fact it's probably on the more annoying side for people listening. Well, I asked a while ago, but maybe it was before your time, or you were you missed the conversation or something. Let's see. Oh yes. So the palette is not yet correct. I already put together a graphic for this one. And then I have to do a crop action because it's not centered. Oh, really? Why would it be the worst for gaming? I wonder. I have that N key rollover thing or whatever, so I can have up to uh, six things pressed down, 6 keys pressed down at once. But I thought that it was weird that that was even a limitation. I mean, if you have some recommendations for keyboards that would be somewhere in the middle ground where it's better for typing and doesn't have any of the, or as many of the drawbacks, I'm all ears. Even though I just recently got this one, because I'm going to be ordering another one anyway for the other. I'm ordering a computer for my brother and my mother to use. Oh, it's got the travel time is very long. Yeah, I don't personally feel I don't feel like I'm not getting responsivity out of it. But there is probably some aspect of it where it's like you want absolutely zero delay. Like especially in games like Counter-Strike, I'm sure that's really fucking important. Or noticeable, I should say. So wait, what's the... 47 versus 31. Is that the same over here as well? Yeah. All right, so I want to probably take off like 30, say 36 off the top and 24 off the bottom. So why don't we do that? So 92. Okay. $68. Okay. So that should be good. We'll go ahead and make a backup just in case. Oh, I guess this should be backup. I definitely enjoy mechanical more than anything else, as far as typing goes. That I've experienced, I should say. Bit of a caveat, but... Gotcha. Well, I'll definitely be, looking into that one, just on the basis of it being... a bit more, for lack of a better term, approachable. As far as, like you said, best of both worlds. I am looking for something that will work for every sort of like an all-rounder type thing, but I wish there was a way where you could like try it out. I guess you could go to a store and do this. But I still can't believe that this fucking graphic was hiding on me. Pretty epic. Um, Oh yeah, I was gonna listen to something else. Taking it sweet ass time. But hey, we're getting there, man. It feels weird because things are just bigger, like they're scaled up more because the monitor itself is bigger. So that's rather strange. I'm sure there will be some bit of change there. So what's next to convert anyway? I was actually thinking of doing some Five Nations stuff, even though it's so annoying to do everything for them. I sent Iquare some of the atlases, or one of the atlases, and I think he was underestimating how fucked these graphics actually were. In terms of actually having to interact with them, I should say. So what happens if I do this? Is there going to be a significant change? Doesn't look like it. Okay. There was something that I had to do. I forget the process that I used to do this, but basically there was like a way for me to fill in all of the gaps. So I think it was like this, and then I would merge them. And then I do that. Wait, how? Somehow I missed that. Oh, yeah, I know why, actually. That was just a dumb move on my part. Because there is probably no issue with pure black when it comes to what they were doing. So they were using pure black indexes, or indices, I should say. Yeah, thanks. It's almost like that's not what I was looking to do. Okay, I guess that was all entirely pointless, and I should have just done it this way anyway. That does remind me of that like meme idea that I had to just contact these guys and say, hey, can you guys stop working on your game and make art for me? Thought that was pretty funny. Just imagine reading that and being like, what the fuck? Though I may unironically look into whoever is responsible for this stuff. And see what I can dredge up. Well, it's not really a bigger mini map. It's, I guess the mini map is scaled up more probably. So you're right there. Okay. So now I should be able to do good one. So let's do, oh yeah. So I want to say probably about like, if you look at this, it's like 80 and that's 50. So we can do, oops, we can do width of 80 and a height of 60. Grab this guy first. So here's some shit that should have been filled in here. I think. Or it was incorrectly filled in to begin with. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I don't know. We'll have a look later. See what we can dig up after it's already in. Okay. Grab this. This is... Guess I shouldn't have done that way after all, but whatever. What a fucking name for a unit, by the way, Cracker. Cool. Well, that's in now. I don't know what the fuck I'll use it for. if I'll use it at all. Oh, that's where the Azazel came from. What's this? Okay, this shouldn't be too difficult to do as well. Oh. Well, no, that's fine. Okay. Now this one's pretty small, so we can say like a 50 by 50. Icor was looking for a support vehicle, so maybe this will be, or a support aircraft, I should say. So this might work for that. It's funny how much Starcraft ended up influencing graphics. I'm sure it's not the first game to have the same style of graphics in terms of like the dimensions or whatever, but it's just funny to me that this is where we wound up many moons later. Oops. We should all learn to make models. I just feel like I have ways, like, it's like that programming stuff. There's no doubt it's possible for me to learn model making just based on the fact that I was able to pick up programming. I'm pretty sure I'd be able to pick up the art stuff too with enough time, like with enough years of development, right? Just like programming. I'm still very new to it, but I'm learning. It's just that the process of learning takes up a lot of time, and time is finite, and that means I've done less stuff like AI or modding, generally speaking, or map design or whatever. Like I've been sort of wrapped up in other things, right? Which is what you would expect, but oh, Jesus, can't do that one yet. Hopefully iQuare figures out a tool to automate the frame atlas stuff. Hello, Xavier. I'm not quite sure how to say your name, but welcome. I always struggle with capital I or lowercase l. I don't know what the fuck it is, man. But I am currently working on... I was just pulling some graphics from a few different places. Just move those over there so that they're off my desktop. Beautiful. But it's so that I can add some new graphics to my flagship project, Project Hydra. Move that over there for now. Well, thanks for the like. I feel like that there's like a color setting went back on or something. It's really weird. Oops. Well, that's definitely not what I wanted. All right. Still getting used to these new monitors, man. Anyway, yeah, this is my mod for Starcraft. So we got some new units. Some of them are not yet implemented. This guy's a crow. You know, got some stuff like this. Mostly right now we've been implementing a lot of upgrades and stuff like that. For example, in the there's a new upgrade for the Ultralisk that gives it lifesteal when it attacks, which is a pretty impactful upgrade. And there's another one that gives them a massive speed boost while they're... I'm going to change that to also give them an attack speed boost, actually. I might as well start to do that now. I'm going to see if I can keep track of exactly how the regular speed boost was implemented, but... Well, they were just boring. It was bonus armor and bonus move speed. And I felt like if I give the unit +1 base armor, which I ended up doing as a consolation prize, and I offer these new upgrades that are a bit more positional, I can look into other ways that might end up improving the accessibility of Ultralisks. So for example, like it's a very high tier unit, and I feel like the armor bonus and the movement speed bonus wound up feeling like you must get these things in order for the unit to be useful. Sort of like how siege tech is a must for siege tanks to be useful, you know what I mean? Whereas like Zerglings don't need Zergling speed, but it's a pretty strong upgrade, and adrenal glands don't need to be researched for Zerglings to be useful, but it definitely improves their DPS. So like Ultralisks were not nearly as cost efficient. Like you didn't get your money back for spending 200 gas, 200 minerals on an Ultralisk, and like 4 supply, I think. You didn't get your resources worth of value. So I didn't like that at all. And that was definitely one of those things that I sought to fix up a little bit. Well, the thing about the Ultralisks is that they're now meant to be more like they're meant to be more like a frontline, like tank damage absorption. They still deal a fair bit of damage when upgraded and all that, but anyway, the fact that you spend so much money for Ultras is one of the reasons why I wanted to rework those upgrades anyway. And I think that the upgrades themselves certainly could be modified in such a way that would allow them to, like maybe the upgrades remain high cost, but I reduce the time cost. That's definitely something that I want to look into, is making it so that they're quicker to get. But I also think that it might make sense to reduce their gas cost to 150 or something, which it would be a considerable buff to them. Because the idea is that I think if they're a little bit more accessible, maybe their time cost as well or instead of the gas cost. Again, these are all just ideas. I haven't settled on anything in particular, but I definitely want to get some work done on them so that they're a little bit more approachable, I guess, for lack of a better term. Because right now I feel like... Oh yeah, that's true too, is that the Hydralisk speed upgrade and the range upgrade definitely feel very... It's like they're overstated in their impact. The Basilisk upgrades may be too expensive to really justify the value that they provide, but they are positional by nature. So that it's like I'm basically allowing players to add additional value. It's like a mix of adding guaranteed value and potential value if you're good enough. And that's what those upgrades allow you to do. And so like, yeah, there's guaranteed value insofar as the Ultralisk will definitely get lifesteal, or they'll definitely get bonus movement speed and attack speed, but you have to get the kill, or you have to bring them to the point where they're actually attacking a unit in order to get advantage of those, to take advantage of them, right? So there's positioning about it. It's like Ascendancy is going to be the energy upgrade for High Templar as well, so that's a situation where it's a guaranteed value addition, so you want to get that upgrade, but it also guarantees even more value, or it provides potential value that is much higher than what was previously offered. Right, yeah. Well, Zergling speed isn't a must-have. I mean, there's plenty of games that I play where I build a couple Zerglings in the early game and I don't intend to make them. It's like, if you're going to make this unit a core part of your arsenal, then of course you want to upgrade them. Whereas like Hydralisks are not very useful at all without their upgrades. Or they're not as... Like they don't serve a very impactful combat role. Like they don't give you your value really for the unit. I mean, it's a cheap unit, so it's kind of hard to say they don't give you the value. But they're not. They definitely feel like they're missing something important about them when they don't have the movement speed upgrade, at the very least. The range upgrade as well is definitely something that greatly aids them, but I'm not really sure what you would do. Well, that's because every build order in vanilla relies on heavy Zergling usage in the early game. To the point where you basically need to be in a position to posture aggressively in the early stages of the game to use speedlings to get into the mineral lines. I don't think that's a requirement in Hydra, at least at our skill level. So I don't see. I don't look at it like it's as much of a problem, if that makes any sense. Like, maybe it will become something that is a must have. But even then, I think that there's ways around it to make it like situationally less attractive depending on what's going on there. And I think the team game orientation of the maps and the fact that the rush distances are going to be larger, like the distance between bases are going to be larger in most of the melee styled maps and obviously the campaign maps. That necessarily means that you're less inclined. Like aggressive early game strategies are simply not as effective. That doesn't mean that they're not possible to implement well, but it's less likely to be a mandatory thing for you to engage within, if that makes sense. Yeah, but by the time you're in the position to take a third, you probably have Hydralisk speed or mutas or something else that can navigate the map. I don't think you're getting what I'm saying if you think that larger maps equal a higher priority on speed. It means that, yeah, speed's more important if you plan on using Zerglings. But that's always been the case. That's my whole argument, is using Zerglings or attacking a Zerg player in the early game is necessarily less effective because the defender's advantage is improved or increased based on the size of the map. Like by the time you get to your opponent, by the time your reinforcements get to your main attack wave that's harassing the opponent in the early game, by the time any of that stuff happens, like due to the larger distance and thus longer time to reinforce, defenders' advantage is increased, which reduces the efficacy of early game plays. I will say I was playing around with the idea of throwing the Hydra Den on to a hatchery requirement, so you could get that as your first structure. Not sure if I'll do that though. In 1v1, yeah, but again, I don't think that the same game state will find a huge amount of success in team games. I'm not sure if that's still true now. I need to dig into why that seems to be the consensus amongst players in Brood War. Why Zerg need a more sizable base count. Because in Hydra it's no longer about production, because you can, for less minerals, you can enhance your production using morphing to lair and hive. So that certainly is not the case anymore. It's not as much of the case. It's not really that you need more map control than other races, because you can just use overlords to scout, and you get overlord speed for free now. So that's not the same thing either anymore. Anyway, I'll have to decide if that's something that I want to like thoughtfully and deliberately remove or modify, the Zerg reliance on or desire for additional bases. I think it's fine for them to have that aspect to them. But it sounds like the issue that happens where Zergling speed is mandatory, it's not really Zergling speed being mandatory. It's Zerglings being mandatory. And I think that's a different problem that we could, in theory, we could tackle that differently. Yeah, we've already talked about layer hive. It's 100 minerals and 150 minerals for layer and then hive, respectively. So it's 250 minerals for a hive from a hatchery. But yeah, I think. Oh yeah. So I'm gonna add this to. I guess it's probably update unit state has a weapon speed stuff. Or maybe it's apply upgrade flags. Well, yeah, there's also that concern too, like the hydralisk observations that we made where they're not particularly potent. Well, basilisks are less gas intensive than lurkers, so depending on the expansion and map state, you might find that there's different things going on there. I think they're pretty good. I mean, you micro them in a very different way than you micro lurkers, but in all my tests, I've seen them absolutely butcher infantry. Oh, wait. I guess I can just do this. It doesn't seem like the cooldown upgrade went through. Well, stim packs just make it so that it's easier for the basilisks to nuke individual infantry units. Especially with their bounce, they actually destroy medics just because they damage so many different units at the same time. But yeah, given even upgrades, I think they're fine. And they outscale infantry anyway. Most infantry get outscaled by them because of the double attack. It means they benefit from upgrades in an extra manner. As long as, so again, given like the same upgrades, right? And they're a lot more mobile than... They're a lot more mobile than lurkers, obviously. Yeah, they have 1 armor. I might play around with allowing basilisks to morph basilisk den without a lair. Not sure. They also benefit from, I'm pretty sure anyway, that they benefit from Hydra speed. Oh wait, no, they don't. Okay. I mean, you're right about the testing in a test map or whatever doesn't necessarily tell you much here. But I think the fact that they scale better than infantry means that they'd be pretty useful. Yeah, armor affects it twice as much because of the double attack, but when they get like +2 per upgrade or whatever it is. Well, it says 6 + 1. It's actually 12 + 2. That's why I said given even upgrades, they don't... they fare well, and they will continue to fare well. But if they ever have an upgrade advantage, it's doubly impactful. Lurkers have the same... Like, really, lurkers outscale because they're a more expensive unit and deal... Like, the whole way is that they're basically the Zerg version of a siege tank, right? That's why lurkers outscale, because a huge amount of cost, for one. And reliance on APM for another. It's actually, it looks like it's double the hive generation. Yeah, they're medium size. So it looks like I've got to correct this string. Also, remember that scales. When you hit fucking tier 4 and tier 5, you'll be printing larvae left and right. Well, that's assuming you can keep enough distance, but yeah. Yeah, it doesn't look like the attack speed upgrade kicks in there. I just told you it doesn't. It's 100 minerals for a lair, 150 for a hive. So it's 250. Now, that being said, I'm still open to modifying that, but I'll wait and to see how all of the, like, the sire and the brood fit in with everything else. No, they are 100% in sync with each other. I dropped the lair cost to 100 like many months ago, and the hive cost from 200 minerals to 150, so that they were in sync with the gas costs. Oh, yeah. Oops. I'm not sure why the upgrade here, or the upgrade check here, is not working properly. But guess we'll go ahead and remove it and recompile. Wait, what? Okay. So that's in. Close that for now. I'll just let Iquare know. That's going to be a pretty epic upgrade when we see that, man. Okay. Well, all right then. Looks like it's just about time for me to bail out of here, since we managed to do some graphical conversions. We did some miscellaneous edits after that. Now, I do have to record the very lovely Brood War Terran campaign later today, so you can stay tuned for that disaster piece in the making. I'll try to be a little bit less head broken today. Yesterday's commentary was a little fuck, especially in the opening, but I still think there were some useful tidbits mixed in there. Well, you're in for a real fucking treat. We have a friend to kill. I might continue to have make stroke sounds every single time I cringe in a briefing. I thought that was a useful commentary for me to just go. Ah! I honestly can't believe how fucking cringy some of that dialogue is. You'll see when you get in there, but Rashigal, that's like the Rashigal's annoying fucking voice inspired me to add her to the thumbnail for that one. As just took her fucking portrait and recolored it red for Amon and shoved it in there. Yeah. Yeah. Whew. What a mess. It's just gross. It's like, why would they write that? And then make somebody read it. Like, Rashigal had a gun to her head or something. Or not really. She was just pilled up. She was like, 2 arms, my children. I guess. Whatever, man. Who gives a fuck? But before I do any of that, I am going to restart my computer for the driver changes. And then after that, in like under an hour or so, I'll start smashing out that video. So that'll be a mess. And then I'll figure out what else I want to do because I still got plenty of time in the rest of the day. Vanilla isn't great, but most of the bad dialogue in Vanilla is just carrying on zeros was dumb. Yeah. Most of it is like characters being way too overdramatic compared to what was previously. Because like the Terran campaign was actually quite grounded, I think. Even though like Mengsk was a bit of a buffoon at the end, and a lot of people make really stupid decisions. But in terms of the theme, like on its surface, what it outwardly presents to you is not that absurd in most cases, like thematically. And then you get into the rest of the campaign, and especially the expansion, and people are talking about like the end of the universe, got to save everybody, we have a friend to kill, just a bunch of cringe dialogue, man. So yeah. We'll see how it goes. Listen, we're gonna see all about Mengsk's diarrhea. That's actually what the UED is researching in their campaign. So. Honestly, Kerrigan dying there, I mean, as stupid as it was for Mengs to send her down there alone in the first place, given that Duke and Raynor were not actually occupied in any way, he's just like, everybody else will remain behind here. For no reason. But besides that, it was like, okay, well, she's down there. Okay, if we accept that premise and then she dies and it makes Raynor see that Mengsk is a bad guy. Like, I don't know why we had to kill a character for Raynor to see that there's more than meets the eye to Mengsk and he's actually quite an unsavory character. Like, add some moral gray area to the story or whatever. They could have done that, and then that would have been meaningful enough, I guess. Like, you don't need to then resurrect her and turn her into a fucking anime character. Yeah, it literally could have been thrown away, like with one throwaway line of dialogue. It would not have been super satisfactory, but at least we wouldn't be asking really obvious questions out the gate. Ridiculous. TBH. So anyway, that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. And I'm going to go ahead and take a leak. Thanks for hanging out today, guys. Thanks for the help with the monitor, Veek. Appreciate it. And let me know if you guys have anything epic to share. Oh yeah, Balethal. Whenever you got something, I don't. It didn't sound like you were quite happy with the song you made in your stream yesterday. But whenever you're, if you end up doing more streams or more work on it anyway, just feel free to post it. I didn't quite catch the idea of it. It sounded like it was supposed to be a Terran track or something. But feel free to DM me or just post in your channel and I'll take a look at it. Yeah, he was streaming music making. You can find it on his channel. Search Bay Lethal. Or just click on him in chat or something. Where's the VOD? It's in my sub feed, dude. Yeah, his mic audio gets played twice. But if you can deal with that. It's not as bad as my Tassadar video I sent you once, where I had a huge echo for no reason. So anyway, he'll fix that for future streams. And I'll fix that. Well, I don't have anything to fix, but I'll fix my dog, I guess. See you, nerd.